Welcome to another episode of One Piece Weekly. Well, this week we'll be talking about chapter 1007. Myself, Manny, and I got Hunley and Abby here too.
Yo.
All from the Four Eyes Academia, and as always, we're going to bring to you analysis of the latest One Piece chapter. At the beginning of the chapter, Tanikita, which is also a Japanese raccoon, something that Chopper has been referred to many times in the past. So from that title alone, you already know that Chopper will have some part to play in this current chapter. In the cover, we see Caesar making balloons for baby penguins. We begin the chapter with us being informed that the Oniwabelshu and also the Mimi Warigami, the former Orochi's former ninjas, while the latter are Oden's former samurais who swore loyalty to Kaido after Orochi's death. They've all been defeated, and this is just informing us that the stronger fighters are starting to fall. They were all defeated by Urogoro, and Drake also makes a comment about that, saying that now we see why the rest of the world fears Wano. We move on to seeing Queen being a bit annoyed with his underlings because they question him about why he infected their comrades with the virus, with the ice demon virus. Queen goes on a rant saying that they should know their place, that he created the ice demon virus specifically for them, so they could be used for in battle, even if it meant their deaths. This virus gives them some sort of a power boost, but carries on throwing insults towards the pleasures and the waiters, tells them that new grants are easy to replace. This causes some of the members from the Allied forces to even feel sorry for their enemies, stating that they may be their enemy, but the way the superiors treat them is pitiable. Now, in previous chapters, I remember speaking to Pauline and Abby about the theme of betrayal within Wano. We suggested many times that a lot of these beast pirates may turn around to betray Kaido and Queen and King and whoever they're serving under. What we see in the latest chapter kind of confirms some of the things that we've realized before. But at this point now, what is you guys' take on Queen's man management of his employees?
Listen, I'll be talking to the HR department about him immediately. Like,
I'll be going to employer tribunal. All of that.
Ring on the HR. He's such a prick. I didn't think it would be this easy to get Beast Pirates to try to get just everyone, First Hammer, and now Queen just literally shooting himself in the foot by just turning everyone against him by himself. Like,
he underestimated Chopper. He thought it was fine. No one was going to get a cure for his virus, so he thought it was fine and whatever else.
We did leave chapter 1006 with Hyogoro about to get beheaded, and they were hesitating. It got dragged out up until the point, predictably, where Chopper saves him and gives him the antidote. And it's the same way that apparently, I don't remember this, but Manny reminded me that Shanks saved Kobe the same way. And now Chopper's face is sparkling, which is such a cute moment. I'm so happy he got this moment. Like, I love how even Robin, everyone's getting their moment, like their own panel. Like Robin had it a few chapters ago, now Chopper. It's really cute. Yeah, so Chopper then decides to distribute the antidote using a cannon. And it's a callback to Drum Island, where his previous mentor, the one that died, created a cure for the islanders' cold heart. Just before Chopper left, his other mentor, his most recent one, she used cannons, and if you remember, it's like you see the drum and then you see a lot of like pink dust that kind of look like sakura, which is something that used to be on the island before it started snowing. So that was a cute little parallel between the way Chopper did it and the way his previous mentor did it. So then Chopper starts talking to Queen about the virus, because Queen's like in disbelief, like, how the hell did you create this? And he explains that in the 2 years that he was away, he honed his skills pretty much and learned new techniques. At Chopper's progression, you can tell that he's getting more emotional about scientists that harm others. So he's very ethical. And you can see that in Punk Hazard when he got emotional over the use of candy. And now in Onigashima, where Queen uses the ice demon poison. The next bit, which is hilarious to me, was when the people that he saved started calling him Tanuki. So everyone was like, "Shut up, Queen, you almost killed our brothers. Tanuki-san saved me, or saved them. We'd rather die protecting our savior and then continue serving a crazy boss like you. Isn't that right, boys? And everyone's agreeing with him and whatnot. And even Marco's like, now give him your best shot. And then you see Chopper taking his rumble, and then he just slaps Queen in the face, saying, "I am not a Tanuki." Oh, that is classic, honestly. And you can see everyone's faces like, "Oh, we're sorry."
Someone suggested a little while ago, well, like 3 chapters ago, chapter 1005, and we got Demon Child. Someone suggested that all the Straw Hats are gonna end up having a panel named after them, or not panel, sorry, a chapter named after them. So we had
that makes sense.
Yeah, so we had Luffy, obviously chapter 1000, Straw Hat Luffy.
Yeah.
Then chapter 1005, we got Demon Child. Chapter 1007, we got Tsuniki-san, which is a name that people constantly refer to Chopper. So I'm kind of with this suggestion.
I hear that because I did say that in the panel. You can see that he had Robin had her own panel where she was like, said whatever she said, I can't remember. And then now Chopper has his own panel, and I think we're gonna get another one for each. That makes sense, yeah. But Demon Child is what people refer to as Robin. Tanuki-san is what people refer to Chopper as.
But yeah, I think every single Straw Hat is gonna end up getting an individual chapter
Definitely.
for them.
Yeah, this part with Chopper I think was very important because Chopper has been a bit falling behind a bit for me. Like, Chopper's one of my faves, but this bit, in his own way, I feel like he redeemed himself. He didn't have to like, he didn't just fight, you know. He was a doctor first. He cured a bunch of people and got them on his side, which is a very great thing to do. Like, it's not just being if he just beat up, like, you know, a boss, it would have been cool for a few chapters, but then that's the only impact he would have had. He would have taken down one person.
I feel like in the whole chapter we got reminded of who Chopper is and who Chopper was. We got a similar showing with the Robin chapter as well, with Demon Child, where we got reminded who Robin actually was. And now we got something similar with Chopper.
And we had it with Luffy as well. When he was like, Luffy, let me reintroduce myself, you know?
Bro, and since that Luffy reintroduction, we be getting reintroductions
to every Straw
Hats. Yeah. I think this is done by design. I think this is genuinely doing on purpose.
And I think it's a very good way of doing it as well. Like, I have been saying that I've just missed the Straw Hats in general. I've just not been getting that Straw Hat vibe, that Straw Hat dynamic that I've been getting pre-time skip, you know?
So we have, in the next panel, we have Shinobi, Momo and Yamato running through the right brain tower castle interior. Momo is just saying how weak he is. He's just lamenting, having pity on himself, saying how weak he should be doing better. He hates being like this. Shinobi's trying to give him, you know, that courage, and next thing you know, Momo turns into his, you know, small dragon form, his smile ability, devil fruit ability. Then after that, we go to the reception room and we have CP0 again. They're just giving a bit backstory about Kaido and Punk Hazard. So they're just talking. While the Marines had Kaido in captivity, Vegapunk used Kaido's lineage factor to try and synthesize an artificial devil fruit. The world government intended to seize that fruit, but it was ruled a failure and it was left on Punk Hazard. And CP0 just basically, one of the members of CP0 was just asking, how is this relevant? And another was saying it would be convenient if it was destroyed then. But a report from G5 indicates that there was still a research facility operational recently. And the other member was just saying, I was just thinking, it's fortunate that the experiment was a failure, that's all.
Obviously with the panels regarding Yamato, Momo and Shinobi, Oda was clearly wanting to show us Momo's transformation into a dragon to remind us that he has this devil ability, because we haven't seen it in a while. I don't think we need to remind him, but we got.
I think there's more to that ability that that Momo has accessed.
Yeah. So there's more to ability that exactly. So that moves on to the CP0 conversation that they had. Them not talking about, oh, thank God that it was deemed a failure. So that experiment never went through. Little to the knowledge that Momo, what I'm assuming Momo has that devil fruit with Kaido's lineage.
This reminds me of what you were saying a few chapters ago about what's going to happen to Onigashima, because it's floating, right? And if this is connected, if Momo's ability is connected to Kaido, then maybe he can use some of his abilities, like keeping the island afloat, because Momo has to prove himself. after all this time. I don't think it's going to be with a fight. I think it's going to be something else, and this could be a good opportunity to prove himself and rescue his people, you know, save his people, because I don't think he's fighting anyone at this point, but he has to prove himself.
Yeah, he can't. He can prove himself by rescuing the flower capital, and it's also a good thing that it happened. That transformation happened right in front of Yamato, and as soon as it happened, we got straight to the next scene. There's obviously going to be a conversation with Momo and Yamato about his devil fruit power, because
hopefully we know more about Yamato as well.
Yeah, and obviously Yamato is Kaido's son, so he will be able to tell Momo how useful his abilities can be. And maybe through that conversation, Momo might be able to do something with his ability that we don't know that Kaido can do, or we don't know that Momo can do, or something along those lines. There's reason in why Momo is currently with Yamato right now. Why Momo transformed in front of Yamato.
Yeah, the Knights Givens, they've all been hit. Someone treat their wounds. They're wondering who. You got our friend the Kappa. I vaguely remember catching a glimpse of a familiar face, but I thought it was a dream. There's no way it was real. And then you got Kinemon saying Luffy's still fighting up on the roof, fighting Kaido. The rest of the island is still at war, so they need to go. There's still some fighting, so they need to go help still. Then you see Shadow in the distance saying, "You guys look like you're taking a beating." And then it's Oden.
Allegedly.
Oden saying, "I was hoping our paths would cross again. You've all aged quite a bit." And then they're just like, "Huh? Oden-sama?"
You know what's so funny is, if this was any other shonen anime or manga, we'd be ecstatic, like, what, someone from the dead came back. But because this is One Piece, we don't like that shit. We don't want that.
We want death significance.
Exactly, like we want death to mean something. I hope none of the OP fandom actually believe this is really Oden. Number one, he doesn't have the same swords. I mean, fair enough, Zoro has one of his swords. The name of the chapter that Pone just said is Tanuki-san, right? Obviously, we're all going to assume it's just about Chopper, but knowing Oda, like, it could be referring to other things. And Tanukis are known in Japanese lore to be tricksters and transform into different people. So this could be a transformation that someone is using, maybe not to trick per se, but just to show up as Oden for whatever motive. I don't really know, that we'll get into probably later. But so the chapter name is one reason, the swords is another, and the fact that it's Oda and we trust him not to pull this kind of shit. So what else? What other reasons do you guys think it is an Oden?
Can't lie, you just did the reason I was thinking, mate. Like,
so one of the other reasons why, just to add quickly, why I don't think it was Oden is because around Oden there was myth and fog, which usually indicates a recent transformation in One Piece, like we constantly see it. One of the characters that it might be, which fact against that myth and fog theory though, is Kanjuro. He could have created a Oden to fight the scabbards. He could have even drawn the samurai swords himself. Just to slow down the scabbards, I guess. Somebody else there could have been, it could have been Onimaru, the tailed fox that can transform, that was looking after all the different swords back in Wano, and he could have traveled to Onigashima with Hiyori, and Hiyori was probably the person that killed the scabbards, and she probably ran out of the room because she didn't want to get seen by the scabbards, seeing that she wanted to get involved in the fighting. And then as they finish healing, and Kappa mentions that the person that healed them was somebody that was familiar to them. So it's most likely Hiyori. The only other person that I can think of that could be is Itoki. Finally, the other person that could be Devon from the Blackbeard Pirates. There's been many, like it's been stated before, that Blackbeard is on his way to somewhere. We just don't know where. Some people suggest Whole Cake Island. Some people suggest Impel Down to get more recruits. And others might suggest Wano. And if Devon is in Wano, she's obviously there to collect devil fruits for Blackbeard and Blackbeard Pirates. And one devil fruit that they might be trying to get is Kaido's one, because we have Blackbeard who has, or we all know that he's trying to get a third devil fruit. I think that's pretty much everyone in the fandom knows that Blackbeard, it is 3 devil fruits. He already has the strongest Parasimia devil fruit, the one that he got from Whitebeard. He also has, if not the strongest, one of the strongest Logia fruits, the one that nullifies other Logias, and now he might be out here trying to get the strongest zone fruit from Kaido.
Yeah.
So those are the people that I think most likely. I think if I had to put my money on anyone, it would be Hiyori and Onimaru, just because she's like the most simple and the most logical one, rather than the rest. That even though the other ones might seem a bit more exciting, well, more so the Devon one. I'm not be sure the logistics of all of that happening. I can't imagine Blackbeard going to Wano and being involved right in the middle of the fighting, knowing that he could have some casualty on his side. Blackbeard is one of the people that will wait for everybody to literally be dead and gone before he tries to snatch.
He is, definitely.
But what are you guys' thoughts on that?
So Kanjuro, that's his name. I don't like it being him, only because his part of it came to kind of like a natural end. He was defeated and assumed dead. And I don't really like that of him coming back for whatever. Like, I don't see what the purpose of him coming back is, other than to just try to defeat the Red Scabbards, which I don't know. I don't see what that. I understand. I don't know how his ability works. He just draws it and it just pops out the page, right? He could just draw something in thin air, out of thin air. The whole mist, I think, actually plays a part in the transformation. And Tanuki said the name of the chapter is Tanuki. So I think it strongly suggests that someone transformed into Oden rather than someone drawing Oden. So that's Kanjuro. I don't really think it's him. Oni, the fox, I can't remember his name. The fox, I think, is probably the strongest. Again, he transforms. The only thing I don't get is he transformed into a humanoid when we first met him, but that's it. He didn't transform into anyone else. We don't actually know if he can transform into anyone else. And the fox also has access to different swords, so he could have just took 2 random swords from his bag and just slipped it on to look like Oden. I just don't understand the motives. Is it to like get them motivated to fight? I don't understand. Like, that's a very cruel thing to do, to appear to them as Oden himself. And then Hiyori as well, that's Oden, that's her dad. So what, does she know that he's transforming into, was it her idea even, like to say, oh, transform into my dad so that you can motivate them to fight? Blackbeard pirates being on the island is probably the only thing that would make me think it's not her. Like, it's the reason for them being on the island at this point, at this stage, it's just not strong enough. But everything else actually makes me believe it is her. Specifically, as I mentioned before, what Oden actually says in the chapter, which is, I was hoping our paths would cross again. You've all aged quite a bit. The fact that he says all aged quite a bit, if it was Kanjuro or the fox, they would know that Kiyomon didn't age at all. Because he time traveled since he time traveled 20 years because of Toki, right? So he hasn't aged. And the fact that he used those words specifically, I know Oda, let's be honest, like everything needs to be looked into. He used those words specifically, meaning it's probably someone that's not familiar with Kiyomon time traveling into the future. I'm not sure about who in Wano actually knows that they time traveled. It could just be the Strawhats. I can't remember really. I don't know if you guys remember, but I feel like it's someone that wasn't aware that they time traveled, which kind of takes Kanjuro out of the equation, because Oden wouldn't say something like that to Kiyomon if he can see that Kiyomon looks exactly the same as he did 20 years ago. Everyone else visibly changed. Like, yeah, that's my theory on Devon. It being Devon is that she's probably the only one that would say you've all aged quite a bit. And I think, Manny, you mentioned before the pose, the way Oden is standing is similar to the way Devon is always standing. And yeah, but I just don't understand why Blackbeard would be on the island in this time right now.
Well, I really don't know who it could be. I just know it's not Oden. That's what I can say. I've not really thought who it could really be, to be honest. But I just know it can't be Oden. Surely it can't be, because Oda can't do that. Like I said with the chapter, of the name of Tanuki, I just know I feel it's someone that can transform, possibly, and take on or transform into anything they want to, almost basically. So we'll find out probably anyway as we go through the chapters, but I'm pretty certain it's not Oden. But
yeah, do you guys have anything else to add to this week's chapter?
I'm sad this is now we've got a break next week.
That's really it. Like, I'm annoyed that we have a break now. Did you know what? Every Friday, regardless of when we have a break or not, I'm always like, oh my god, One Piece, and I'm just like, shit, break. It ruins my work day, I can't lie.
Thank you to everybody that's watching this episode. Much appreciated. If you can, please do subscribe. Please do like the video. If you do like the video, follow us on Twitter for As Academia and for As Academia on the rest of the socials, such as Instagram, and follow us on our Discord channel, which you will find the link underneath in the description.
Bye.
Bye, guys.